Hello, and welcome back to Taya's Christmas Villages. This is very unusual. After my musical tour of every year, you typically don't see me again for 10 months. Once in a while, I'll post a video of something that I find interesting through the year, but not very often. Usually, you don't see me back until the next build. But this year, I've learned a few lessons, and circumstances were a little different this year. And therefore, I've had to do some rethinking about how I build and display my village. Typically, in the last 3 years anyways, in this apartment, I have used the dining room wall for my entire village. That would mean moving a lot of furniture out of the way and moving it into other rooms in my apartment, which makes my living quarters quite cramped. This year, because I've had such a steady stream of visitors, which I absolutely love, it's made it a little uncomfortable because typically we stand around the village and we chat for at least a half an hour, sometimes even up to an hour and a half. And it's a little uncomfortable to stand around that long, so I've had to rethink that. I really want my living space back during the holiday season, so I've decided that I'm going to change the room in which the village is built. I'm going to change it from the dining room and move it into my office in 2025. I'm in the office right now. This is a square room, probably about 10 feet by 10 feet. So although it won't be as long a village, it will allow me to make the village much deeper so that there will be more perspective, although the diorama will be quite a few feet shorter. But I'm convinced it will facilitate my living space during the holiday season next year, or this year, later this year, because it's January now. The other thing that really changed for me this year was while I was making my lake, I really wished to have a little dock on the lake. I like the look of that. I've seen it in other videos. I really enjoyed looking at that dock with the fishermen on it. I mentioned this to my grandchildren, and my one grandson, who was 14 at the time, told me that he had purchased a 3D printer. I had never seen or heard of a 3D printer before, more fool me, because there's lots of videos on YouTube about 3D printing. The things you can accomplish with a 3D printer are astronomical. In any case, he said to me, "Grandma, I can build you a dock with my printer." I replied, "Okay, give it a whirl, let's have a look." And this is what he came up with. This little dock. Of course, the dock was in the color of the filament that he used to print it with, and that was white. So I had to paint it. I painted it, and I painted it once again, and I see I may have to paint it again because it's not quite as pristine as I would like to have it. But it is lovely. It actually has the wood grain in the slats of wood on the top of the dock, which I really like. It's very realistic. I put it beside my lake and put the little fisherman on it, and it was lovely, exactly what I wanted. Well, that opened a whole new world of possibilities for me. He and I began to discuss what was possible to print with this printer. At one point, I thought I should get myself one of those printers. And I said to him, "I think I will buy a 3D printer for myself." And he said to me, "Grandma, why would you buy a printer? I've already bought the printer. Just keep me in filament and I'll print whatever you want." So that was the deal we made together. So I have a whole list of things I would like to get from him. I'm going to be building modulars on my own, something that I discovered by researching other YouTubers. And there are train modelers and gamers who build these fantastic dioramas that look so real, although they're fantasy. I don't particularly want the fantasy, but I do like the realism. Realism is a real goal for me, to make it look absolutely believable. They make these wonderful little gadgets which go in a long way in building stone walls, cobblestones, walks, and so on. In the meantime, I've seen new YouTubers who are building their villages with realistic images like that. They don't take paper and print cobblestone and cut it up and glue it to the styrofoam. They actually build cobblestone walkways. And the look is lovely. I just fell in love with that look. It adds a whole new ambiance to the village, which is what I'm looking for. So my grandson and I started discussing what he could print for me. He could build me, he could print train portals for the tunnel where the train comes through. I don't have to make them out of styrofoam any longer. He could make me castle keeps, which you could put in the background of the diorama and give it a whole new look. He could build fences and stairs and also rollers, which have the pattern imprinted in the roller. Then when I have the styrofoam base all planned out and set up the way I would like it, I would simply take the roller and roll it anywhere I would want the cobblestone walkways to be. And then all I would have to do would be painted, which is something that really excites me. I've seen other YouTubers and diorama builders do this, and the look of it is fantastic. So it's going to take a little bit more planning. That means this summer I'm going to be busy with a lot of other items that I wish to make. And for my new diorama later this year, I hope to be making modulars, which is also something I learned from gamers. They build modulars and implant little magnets in them so that you can snap them together in whatever design you decide. By doing so, you can build different platforms and different levels in your diorama. While I will still be using my little ceramic houses and the figurines and the trees, it will add a new element to my Christmas village. I thought I'd come and share with you because for me, this is an exciting path to be taking. I am 74 and I'm still learning all sorts of new tricks of the trade to try and keep up with the ones who, in my view, are very successful. And they're very successful dioramas that builders make today. Train models have a real special place in my heart. I love watching how they build their entire basements full of fascinating city and countryscapes and how they make everything. And it's fun to watch my Christmas village building. Although it's only a temporary thing, these train dioramas are pretty permanent. They keep them pretty much all year round. Mine are only temporary, so I can only put so much work into them because it wouldn't be worth my while to put them up and take them down again at the end of the season. But I wouldn't have to go through all the carving and painting and plastering every year. That is a labor, although it's a labor of love. It is a labor that takes up a lot of time and energy, and I'm getting lower on time and energy at my age. So stay tuned every so often, because perhaps you'll get a video to watch what it is that I'm building and making. I will show you how I do these things and even the mistakes I make so that you don't have to make the mistakes as well. But don't hold your breath. The videos may not be regular and they may not be frequent, but I'm happy to be here. Happy to be busy with another exciting project, and I hope you'll stick with me. I want to wish you peace and blessings and a lovely, lovely holiday season. I hope you had a lovely, lovely holiday season. See you again later in 2025. Goodbye.